Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Crystal,
I'm Rugi.
and this is another episode of Real Walk to Real Talk. Today, we want to talk about the importance of having a village, a spiritual village, or a village that encourages you, that you can turn to for prayer, that you can talk to and bounce ideas off of, get advice from. For us, it's very important coming from a spiritual standpoint, like when you have a relationship with God and you're walking through life, trials hit you, obstacles hit you. It's important to have a support system that will, talk you off the ledge, per se,
Right.
that will pray for you and pray with you, that will give you real talk, because sometimes you need like leveled advice. You need somebody to hold you accountable and keep you in check.
It gets sometimes it can be discouraging when you're going through something and you feel alone and you feel like you have nobody to talk to, and you need to be able to pick up the phone and be like, hey, I'm going through this, but you want to make sure that you're picking up the phone to talk to the right people, because not everybody has the right advice for you.
Right.
Not everybody is truly looking out for you. You might have friends who are like, oh, well, let's go out, let's hang, let's do this. But that might not be the same people that you need to really like pray for you when you're going through stuff. And I think that's the difficult part in it. Because if I call Crystal and I'm like, hey, I'm going through this, she's like, oh, well, let's talk about it and like let's really pray on it, because I can call her and like we will really pray. Whereas you have some people that will be like, oh, I'm going through this, I'll pray for you, girl.
But they're not really praying.
They're not really praying for you.
It's like she going through it, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
I think the importance is once you have matured, or you're starting to mature, when you seek God, like He will show you who those people are. He'll give you discernment and wisdom about who you should confide in. Your
He'll
village.
also take other people out.
Yeah, that's true. You might not understand it at the time.
Yeah.
That well, why we not friends no more? Well, sometimes He has to remove people for you, because we will hold on. And like I said, if you're not mature, like in Christ, and you don't have a true understanding of who you should be connecting yourself to, then you can make mistakes, and you can be confiding in the wrong person. They can give you wrong advice, and you can actually take it. So I think it's very important to have those people. You have to pray with the discernment and ask for wisdom regarding having those people in your lives. And it's also important to like really work on your vulnerability, because if you can't be vulnerable with those people, it's not really going to do you any good having them as a support system, because they're not going to be able to know the real you. They're not going to be able to see the many layers of you. And it's easier said than done. I know personally, because I'm not the most
Emotional person.
I am emotional. Don't put my business out like that. I just
She shows it differently.
I do show it differently, and I take my time, like with I guess the best way to say is in the past, I'm working on it. I've been very guarded.
Right.
So like I don't just embrace people. We not best friends right off.
No.
And some people operate like that. Like you kick it a couple of times, like we real good friends. To me, you like
What do you say? On trial?
Yeah, you on probation. It's friendship probation.
Friendship probation.
That might not be healthy. Don't go putting people on friendship probation.
No, do it.
I'm telling you.
You learn. You
I'm
learn
telling-
who people are.
I'm telling you how I've operated in the past, but I've also learned, I think, just finding that balance of like when to show people who I really am, and being okay with who I am and what people think about that. Because I think it's just natural for you to be like, well, if I tell them this, what are they going to think?
Yeah.
Or how are they going to view me? And
Right.
are they going to judge me? But I think when it's a God ordained friendship, if you just be obedient and go with what God tells you concerning that person, the friendship will evolve naturally, and you will naturally feel a comfort level with them. You'll know that you're safe.
And I think our friendship is a true testament to that, because when we first met each other, She doesn't like when I tell this story.
First of all,
but
really? This is what we're gonna do?
No, but I'm just saying, we
Really?
first met each other.
I was nice.
Anyways,
she spreads rumors. Pray for her, okay?
Wow. But yes, pray for me, but I don't spread rumors.
This is a rumor. Go ahead.
No, it's not a rumor. When I met you, you weren't the nicest. She wasn't as open, because when I first met her, I was like, oh, hi, how are you? Is this your husband and your baby? Because she had them up on her screen on her computer. And she was like, yeah. I was like, oh.
But to my defense, inside, I was smiling and I thought I was warm. Okay? Insert
Kanye face.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But once we got to know each other, we realized we had a lot in common. Our older brothers have the same name. Both of our birthdays were in November. And then when it came to the spiritual side of it, at that point in time, I had been searching for a church for about 3 years. I didn't really know her, but I'd be like, oh, I'm going to this church on Sunday. You know, like, and I would literally, like, open up a book and be like, where should I go today? Like, what, you know, and other people had invited me to their church, but there was a feeling that I was, like, seeking, and I hadn't got that going to different churches. And Crystal invited me to church. Well, prior to that, she started talking to me about God, which was out of her comfort zone.
Way out of my comfort zone.
But she, you know, listened to God and, you know, talked to me about, you know, what she felt God was telling her about me. And I was like, you know, that really is where I'm at. And so she's like, well, why don't you come to church with me? And then when I went to church with her and her family, and I think Amir might have been 1 at the time, or not even, he wasn't even 1 yet.
Young.
Yeah, and I went to church, and that was the feeling that I had been searching for the whole time. And to be able to have a friend that will listen to God for what he has over your life, and to speak that into you, and then want to take you to church and have you kind of be a part of their family, because that's what it ends up being, is we are now a
spiritual family.
Spiritual family. And so you don't get that all the time with people, because some people don't listen when God is speaking, and they don't, like, say,
some people don't even hear him.
Yes,
that's all the way real.
Yeah,
they're not even they haven't even positioned themselves to be listening to God. So,
and it was just, you know, it's a good feeling to know I have that in her. And what that has brought our spiritual family at church, where there's 5 of us that roll pretty deep at church. Myself, Crystal, her husband Tavion, my brother BK, Tonisha, and her husband Rob. And, like, we, you know, we hold each other accountable. We all can pray with each other. We could laugh with each other, and we do that regardless. But you just learn to have a bond, and I want that for everybody. Well, we want that for everybody. And a couple of things to look for when I wouldn't even say look for it, because God places it to you, but for you to kind of be ready to receive that is to pray for it, you know.
Yeah, on both sides. And I think also from my point of view is, like, I wasn't, like she said, I wasn't that comfortable with talking to her about God, because that's real personal to me. It's like something that's near and dear to me, but everybody doesn't feel that way. And I'm not the type of person to like to debate about anything, because I get too passionate and then we cross over and it's not even a debate no more. We just arguing. I'm working on it, okay? So, like, for me to even say something was growth for me. And then to find out later, like, it was God ordained. It really was his voice saying, like, you know, say something to her. And I think that had I not been obedient, like, what could I have messed up for her? What could I have messed up for myself? Because in blessing her, it ends up blessing me too and my family, because you gain new people that you can pray with, that, you know, you can call your family, and it's just really fruitful to have those type of friendships. So I would say, even if you feel like afraid of what that person is going to think, if you truly feel like God told you to do it, just, you know, trust him, have faith, and keep moving forward with what he said, and let him work out all the other stuff. Don't try to figure out everything, because you'll never know all the details.
Right.
We cannot figure out the mind of God. Pray, ask for discernment, ask for wisdom, and then when you pray for things, follow through with what he said. If he answers the prayer, then take the answer and move forward. Because a lot of times we pray for stuff, we ask God to give us answers, he gives us the answer, and if we don't like it, you either keep praying or you just shut off.
Right.
If he give you the answer, take it and move forward with it, you know?
Definitely.
Anything else you gotta add?
And it also takes patience, because at the same time, it's like a relationship with anybody else. When you bring it on, have patience with the relationship, learn each other. But if you feel like you can't pray with those people, that's not your spiritual family. If you can't talk about God or talk about what He's done for you, where you're at, or like things you might be going through, because sometimes it's hard to open up to people and really let them in, to let them know, like, this is where I'm really at. Like, I am struggling here, because they might be able to help you understand, because they might have been through it, and or could help you go through it.
Yeah, because sometimes when you're going through stuff, you can't see as clear.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with confusion, you're dealing with stress, you're dealing with anger, you're dealing with sadness, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So you're looking at it from an emotional standpoint, where that person can be looking at it from a different point of view, and it may be fruitful for you to bounce whatever you're going through off of them. I was going to say something else, and then I just totally forgot it happened. Sorry.
Also, pray for the relationships that you do have with people. We've been told that, because our friendship, sistership, whatever we call it, is different from what most people have or seen. People call us twins, because that's just...
I say we're like spiritual twins, because, like, I have friends. I have really close friends that I do, but there's just something different about the bond that we have. Like, I say spiritual twins because you know how twins, when they're in the womb together, once they get out the womb, like, they can sense each other's feelings when they're sad, when they're sick, when they're happy. Like, we cannot be in the same place, and I can get a sense. I'll call her, what's going on? Something not right. So I know that this friendship is like something that was ordained, even though she was on friendship probation too, because everybody gets it. But I feel like there was just something about her.
I'm amazing.
Okay. Everybody take a moment of silence for her craziness. There was just something about her that drew us together, from her to her parents, her siblings. Like, it was just something. I feel like they were placed in our lives at the right time. No shade to any of my other friends, but there's just a different type of bond that we have, and I think it's because the foundation of it was God putting us together. So and the same for her. She's an amazing person. I think we came into each other's lives around when we both needed it. Like, that's just how I like to look at it. Also, like, even with their kids, they're like mine. They're they're the bomb too. EJ is a small version of her. She's amazing.
He's amazing. He's the funniest kid you will ever meet. But to be able to build those bonds with not only her but her husband, I can call him, that's my brother, shout out to Tavion, and her kids, like, she can call me and be like, hey Brooks, I need you to watch them, we're leaving. And that's a level of trust, because when somebody trusts you with their children. And my mom says it all the time, because my parents are West African, and they always talk about when they're going to go back. And my mom always tells Crystal, like, she feels comfortable in leaving and going back to Africa, because she was like, I feel like somebody has my daughter's back. And that says a lot. When she's down, sometimes I know her, when she's down, I'll get her a card and some licorice, the red
vines.
She loves them. Like, sometimes if she's, I just be like, hey, I'll be like, I'll put it on her desk, because also we work together. So we're together 40 hours a week, and we don't really get on each other's nerves, which also says a lot.
Well, I think that
we know I know when to leave her alone.
It's having a balance, like, when to give that person space. And I also think it's important to have a village that is rooted and grounded in the same foundation as you, because, well, specifically for me, like, having a family, having children, I think it's important for them to see what healthy friendships are like. And I think it's healthy for them to see that you can pray with your friends, you can be held accountable by your friends, you can be loyal to your friends, you can cry on your friend's shoulder when you need to. So, like, we've in the short time, I guess not short, but not super long either. We've known each other for almost 7 years.
Yeah.
But, she's been there when I had a child. We've seen each other through losses. And so, and gains, I've been around when she, had people added to her family and taken away. And to have that support system and see somebody in the most vulnerable state, because when given life and life is leaving, that's when you're at your highest and lowest. So to be able to find a true friendship outside of my marriage, it's very helpful and beneficial, because you need to have that other person that you could just vent to, talk to, laugh with, and we do a lot of laughing. We cut up a lot.
We do a lot.
So I think that I just encourage everybody to find that village, and it doesn't have to be a huge village. It can be small, or it can be I have other spiritual villagers that are very important to me and my well-being. And when I'm hit with something, I have a number of resources. In addition to seeking God, I have another earth realm resources to just pull on and say, hey, I'm going through this, I need you to pray with me, or maybe I just need to vent, or maybe I need them to make me laugh, or maybe we need to go eat.
Amen.
We like to eat.
Yeah.
We foodies. So I just encourage people to go after that if you don't have it. Right. And if you do have friends, seek God and make sure that it is what He wants established in your life. If they are the villagers, because you can have friends and then you can have your village.
Yeah.
And I have both, and my friends are awesome as well. So I think that just seeking Him first to see who should be in and out of your life, because sometimes it's hard to get rid of people because we create soul ties with people that are not healthy, and you just continue to do unhealthy cycles with the same people, whether it be a significant other or your friend,
right?
Because some people don't have healthy friendships.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you see,
and that can be destructive.
Yeah, you see it in reality. I don't know if you really want to call it reality, but reality TV, where you have these people saying they're friends, but
and then they turn around.
In the next scene they talk about each other, or they jumping on each other, and I mean, I didn't do that anyway, but I just don't see how that is beneficial to anybody, like why you would even seek something out like that. So to me, I'm just thankful to have the village that I have. I'm thankful that I have solid friends, and I know that they are all like God-given, and they all play a certain position for me and my family, and as well as I do to them.
Yes. So that's all we really have for today. Make sure you guys subscribe below, and follow us on Facebook. We've got a Twitter and Instagram, Real Walk to Real Talk.
Yes, and we are working on developing a website, and I don't know when that will go live.
We're just doing this.
We just really stepped out on faith and started doing this without like anything, right? So eventually, when the website comes, we'll be doing blogs and other resources to encourage and help the masses with, finding a purpose, getting closer to God, leadership, everything, whatever God has for, real walk, real talk, then that's what we will do. We're following His vision, and we're listening to His voice, and we just want to encourage and inspire all that come into contact with this platform.
So thank you to everybody who has supported us on Facebook and on Instagram and following us on Twitter. We appreciate you. We're thankful for you. We just pray that God continues to bless you. So yeah,
that's all we got.
Yeah.
Deuces.
All right,
we out.